Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And on today's Going In Raw news brief, Tony Khan talks Sting taking power bombs. WWE unveils a stacked new Performance Center class. We recap last night's Impact, where a second world title was made official, and preview tonight's AEW and NXT. But first, speaking of AEW, well, they've signed a shockingly huge name and announced a new show. Larson, what's in the news?
Well, as you mentioned, AEW announced that they've got a new show coming to YouTube Monday nights, and it's going to be a big show. Big show. Well, Paul Wight is now All Elite. AEW announced today that, quote, wrestling legend Paul Wight signed a long-term deal, adding yet another universally regarded name to AEW's roster of stars, legends, and upcoming talent. Wight will have an extensive role within AEW, and on top of his return to the ring, he will serve as a commentator for AEW's newest show, AEW Dark Elevation. More on Elevation. It'll air each Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern on AEW's YouTube channel, and will, quote, and will include, quote, established and rising stars, as well as the top independent wrestlers within the industry competing against each other in the ring in pursuit of wins. AEW Dark Elevation will also maintain continuity with Dynamite and AEW Dark, AEW pay-per-view shows and streaming events with wins and losses factoring into each wrestler's ranking in the company. So both cool announcements.
Isn't there like another wrestling show on Mondays, Larson?
Yeah, but that doesn't start till 8 Eastern.
Oh, okay. All right. Why didn't they just move this YouTube? It's just YouTube. Who cares? Why don't they just move it to 8?
Well, then we got a whole new Monday Night Wars here.
Exactly.
So PW Insider has some details on how Paul Wight ended up in All Elite Wrestling. This is what they had to say. Quote, PWInsider.com is told that WWE and Wight were unable to come to terms on a new deal financially, and his final contract with the company expired last month, days after he made an appearance being verbally bullied by Randy Orton on Raw Legends Night episode on January 4th. One source stated that Wight was very open that night about his unhappiness about the situation. Wight, who did not publicly announce his departure, was moved this week to WWE.com's alumni section on February 19th.
Yeah, I mean, when legends exist for Vince McMahon to have Randy Orton like run them down, like, you know, like shit like this is gonna happen. But I mean, I'm assuming, you know, the fact that he is one of the more iconic names from days past from the Monday Night Wars.
Oh yeah.
And you know, obviously he's sort of he is. I could see him. I actually made this comparison just the other day. He kind of is the Shaq of wrestling of the Monday Night Wars anyways, you know. I mean, he was a big deal, and he's always kind of been a big deal, and you know, he's quite meme worthy these days, especially with all the heel turns and face turns and stuff. But I mean, the bottom line is he's had a legendary career. Yes. And this is very, very unexpected. I mean, I guess not, maybe not to people who, you know, saw that he was unhappy there in WWE, but I mean, according to this right here, it seemed to be pretty.
He made no bones about stating his discontent.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, he's a fairly iconic name in the world of pro wrestling. I think that bears out with the social media reaction when this news was announced. A lot of people were like, "Wow," you know. Granted, Big Show hasn't done a whole lot in WWE of late, but you look at the breadth of his career, all that he has accomplished. It's a pretty solid get for AEW. He's always been really good on the mic. I'm sure he's going to be awesome on commentary.
Yeah, he'll be great. He'll be great.
And even, you know, like the rare glimpse we saw him in the ring over the last year or so, like that match he had against Drew after the WrestleMania main event that aired on Raw, was solid.
It was better than the one. It was better than the Brock Lesnar Drew McIntyre match. It was an actual match. Yeah.
You know, he might not have the athleticism he did in his WCW heyday when he was doing drop kicks and stuff. He still knows how to tell a story.
Yeah. Sure.
And you know, regardless of how often he's in the ring in AEW, you know, he's still there to put on quality matches, and he's there, I think, probably more than anything, to lend his extensive knowledge of the pro wrestling world to everybody in that locker room.
I know that a name is just a name, man, but is there any chance the Giant, number one, he should have trademarked the Giant out from under WWE ages ago. He should have done that in anticipation of, this might possibly be a thing. It'd be fun. And I know, like I said, I know a name is just a name. It's not a big deal. It'd be fun for people to refer to him as the Giant again. I really wish WWE at some point would. I know they sort of informally had referred to him as the Giant a couple times on commentary and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, having the Giant, because Paul Wight, it's his name. That's his name. And I'm sure that's probably what they're going to use. Be cool if they came up with a different name. You know, that's one of the fun things about pro wrestling is, what is his name going to be?
Man, whatever they come with is going to be better than Big Show. Not a great name.
You know, it's one of those things that ended up sticking sort of despite itself, because it was never a good name. I remember hearing that name like, what is he, a circus act? Well, that's horrible.
Doesn't make any sense.
That's horrible. The Giant was so perfect, but again, at the time, obviously, WCW owned that name, and Vince likes to do his stuff, so they never changed it back. But yeah. Anyway, speaking of former WCW legends, AEW President Tony Khan was recently interviewed by, no, he's not a former WCW legend. I'm getting to the legend part. Was interviewed by PW Insider's Mike Johnson and was asked about that nasty powerbomb spot with former WCW legend Sting last week, and let it be known that Sting has been fully cleared. And this is what he had to say. He's been cleared. He's been fully cleared. He's been training with Darby and sparring partners, and he's been fully cleared to wrestle. In his training, one thing he's done to get ready with his sparring partners is a powerbomb. In terms of getting ready for this, I was more than fine with it, and in fact, I called it. At that point, when he's taken them in training, it's time for the live crowd. So he was completely cleared to do it and wanted to do it, and he wanted to get out there and wrestle. Sting is going to be on Dynamite tomorrow looking for payback, and all bets are off now. Sting's cleared to wrestle, and he wants to wrestle, and this is how he wanted to end his wrestling career in ring, was in AEW, and come in and go out the way he always wanted to go out, with great matches. I thought Brian did a great job with the powerbomb and certainly got people talking about the match in a very positive way and created conversation about it. Quote, is Sting going to be okay? Is this all right? Well, that was the idea. We're trying to create that conversation, but the most important thing is he is okay, and he walked through the curtain. That's not going to be an easy moment. It took a lot out of him, but at the same time, he came out of it in one piece, and it's what he wanted. Those transcripts come to you from pwinsider.com.
Yes.
Or, I'm sorry. Well, that's from PW Insider.
It's their interview. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when it happened, I thought that's maybe what they were getting at. A shock value of Sting taking that powerbomb, given everything we know about his neck. And that's the way he was selling it. It seemed like it was a story beat. I mean, maybe it was wishful thinking on my part that he actually didn't really hurt himself taking that powerbomb, because it was pretty nasty.
I'm sure he realized that, him feeling the effects of the powerbomb would make a good story beat.
Yes.
Yes. I'm sure that reaction was pretty legit. He didn't, I mean, at no point did he seem out of it. It's not like he got, no. He didn't look like concussed like Matt Hardy during that one match at whatever that pay-per-view was.
Yeah.
But it looked, the look on his face was, oh God, that sucked. Because it probably did in fact suck, but they probably realized this is the story beat we want. We want something that really sucks to happen to Sting. Yeah. I appreciate the fact that Tony Khan is trying to assure people like you and me who get nervous when old men are taking bumps like this.
Well, we don't want to see anybody get hurt, old or young,
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's extra nasty when the dude is super old, because there's just more things can go wrong.
Yeah.
And so I like that Tony Khan is trying to assure people, hey, listen, he's a professional. He did this move in training, and it's ready to do it in front of a live crowd. I appreciate that. He's maybe trying to give some people some peace of mind.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's all you can ask. Sting is a grown man. He can do what he wants.
If he's cleared to wrestle, he can make the decision whether he takes a powerbomb or not,
There you
go.
As
long as his health isn't in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned training. WWE at the Performance Center, they do training.
Wow.
Today, they announced the newest round of signings, their largest ever, coming to the Performance Center, already there in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And they include well-known names like Taya Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, LA Knight, he's already showed up.
Yeah.
LA Knight. Noted independent talent such as Anthony Henry, Christian Casanova, Blake Christian, and Harlem Bravado, as well as prospects such as Rick Steiner's son, Bronson.
That dude looks legit. I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do, man.
Well, there's also Brock Lesnar doppelganger, Parker Boudreaux.
I heard, I read some quotes from Matt Riddle about him saying that he's like, the real deal. And he says, I'm not sure I'll be able to get the match with Brock. So this might be the next best thing. That should be his new nickname. Not the what was Brock's name? The
next big thing.
The next big thing. This guy could be the next best thing to Brock Lesnar.
They should do like an updated remix version of his theme. He should come out in the same ring gear.
Exactly. It's the next best thing, Parker Boudreaux.
There you go. Also announced are several competitors who've already been on NXT TV, along with the aforementioned LA Knight. So Zoe Stark, who's going to be in action on NXT tonight.
Yeah, she's taking on Io Shirai.
I know.
That's rad.
Gigi Dolan, formerly known as Priscilla Kelly.
Great.
Cora Jade. So it's a huge class, a lot of talent there amongst the signees.
My God, that guy looks exactly like Brock Lesnar.
Oh, I know. He looks a lot like...
That's no joke.
He looks a lot like a young Brock Lesnar.
Oh, that's great.
And he's humongous. He's like 6'4", like 300 pounds.
Oh, look at him.
Huge.
Yeah, he's going to be around for a while. That's a big dude.
Yep.
Well, that's cool. You know what else is cool, man? A company that has not just one world championship, but 2 world championships. That's right. During last night's Impact, Scott D'Amore announced that Impact was reinstating the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, thus making its holder, Moose, officially a world champion probably around like a year ago or so. He bought this thing off eBay and started carrying it around, and all that time paid off. Now he's officially a world champion. And I believe we're going to get a champion versus champion match at the upcoming Impact Plus Sacrifice pay-per-view.
Oh, really?
I think I saw that on Cultaholic, but maybe I was dreaming it. Let me double check. Why don't you run down the results from
Sacrifice? These are the results from last night's Impact. Of course, we didn't do our stream last night, so these results are courtesy of WrestleZone. Jake Something defeated his cousin, Diener, and afterwards they ran an angle where Moose speared him, and that's when Scott D'Amore announced the TNA title was now reinstated, and so Moose had to have a match against Jake Something later on the show. 6-man tag action. Chris Bay, Ace Austin, and Black Taurus defeated Trey Miguel, Willie Mack, and Josh Alexander. The Good Brothers defeated Triple XL. Eddie Edwards defeated Hernandez. Jordan Grace and Jazz defeated Kimberly and Susan. They are number 1 contenders, I believe, now for the Knockouts tag titles. And then Moose successfully defended the TNA World Championship against Jake Something in the main event.
Sacrifice on Impact Plus, March 13th. That's going to be, Rich Swann will finally defend that title against Moose. So March 13th. That's in about 3 weeks here. I am totally down. I don't know what's going on that weekend in terms of other pay-per-views. It's the week after Revolution.
And it's the week before Fastlane.
All right, cool. I'm down to watch. I think on Impact Plus, I'm pretty sure they have those for free on Impact Plus. I know the last one was.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm totally down to do a watch along with that, man. That should be fun.
That should be fun. What's going to be fun is Wednesday night. That means good wrestling tonight. Woo-hoo. First, let's do our AEW preview. Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose is eliminator tournament semifinal bout, I believe. Or also, semifinal of the U.S. side of the bracket. Sorry, so it'd be a quarterfinal.
Yeah. Sting is out for revenge for the powerbomb, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Maybe it is a semifinal. I don't know. I have the bracket in front of me. Ray Phoenix versus Lance Archer, and this is a qualifying match for the face of the Revolution ladder match at Revolution pay-per-view.
Doesn't Thunder Rosa still? Oh, yeah, Thunder Rosa. The semifinal for the United States bracket is Thunder Rosa versus Riho. And so it is it's the quarterfinal, but
semi for the U.S. side of the bracket.
For the final. Ray Phoenix versus Lance Archer. More info on Elevation, on AEW Dark Elevation, and the signing of Paul Wight. I'm wondering how Elevation is going to be different from just Dark.
I wonder if this is speculation. I wonder if they realize that sometimes Dark is like 20 matches and 2.5 hours long, and they're like, let's just split it up amongst 2 days now.
That could be. They could. I mean, if you want to put like the big matches that are on Dark, just put them on Elevation, and then like leave the Dark matches for the Dark one. That'd be good
on my part. Just a guess on my part. We got Mox versus Ryan Nemeth.
Ooh, the Hollywood hunk. Brian Cage and Ricky Starks versus the Varsity Blondes.
Hangman Page versus Isaiah Cassidy.
Kip, Penelope, and Miro are going to have an interview.
Yeah, and then Jake Hager will take on Brandon Cutler.
Did you watch Being the Elite this past week? Freaking this match was set up because the Young Bucks come to Brandon Cutler and they're like, hey man, you know what, dude, thank you so much for coming out and helping us out. Kenny didn't show up. The Good Brothers took forever because I'm not even going to talk about what the Good Brothers were doing, but they kayfabe why they took so long. Yeah. Okay, it was pretty funny. And Matt Jackson said, do you want a match against Jack Swagger? On Dynamite, a Dynamite match against Jack Swagger, and he was like, "Yeah." And Nick kept on saying, "We can't call him that, man. His name is Jake Hager now." And then later on, like right at the end of the segment, he said, "Okay, man, it's set. You versus Jack Swagger on Dynamite." And Brandon Cutler was like, "Awesome." And Nick just looks at him and says, "Dude, we can't. WWE owns that name. We can't use that name."
That's pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. Anyways, we also have what looks to be a pretty loaded NXT tonight. Santos Escobar is going to take on Karrion Kross in a no DQ match. And
Adam,
of course, if Santos doesn't show up to that match, then he's going to be stripped of that.
Goodbye, cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
Adam Cole Bebe vows to explain himself this Wednesday on NXT.
This should be good. NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai takes on Zoe Stark in a non-title contest.
Also, Johnny Gargano to clash with Dexter Lumis in a non-title match.
Also, this should be good. Casey Catanzaro is going to square off with Xia Li. She's going to be purged.
Steve, I'll let you take this next one.
Grizzled young veterans set to clash with those absolute units, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. Oh, I can't wait for that one, man.
Yeah.
Give him a mic. Give him a mic during the match. Don't just take it away from him when he's down there in the ring from the stage. You need to give him the mic during the match.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Man. Yeah,
that'd be good.
Hopefully you'll join us tonight at around like 7:30 or so p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, 7:30 sounds good.
10:30 Eastern for our AEW Dynamite recap live at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. And then, of course, tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern for our NXT recap at the same place on Twitch. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steve and Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steve and Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steve and Larson.